Odorizzi had something going on with his fingers, but he stayed in to continue pitching, and it just wasn't quite his day. He gave up 6 runs, and the Astros tried to make a little mini comeback, and Ryan Stanek's little streak of not giving up an earned run came to an end. It was a great streak. I think it lasted about 3 months. Ryan Stanek, we're proud of you. Good job. But unfortunately, the Astros dropped this game, and we'll talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Is your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at 11:47 tonight?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
And if you're looking at the comments for this live feed, you can see that a lot of people are not too happy about Jake Odorizzi right now. But just remember, for every game that you see like this, you also see Jake Odorizzi have a positive start. But guys, we want to thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Maybe make sure you keep on subscribing to us. Go ahead and press that little red button that says subscribe. Give us a like while you're at it, and go and listen to us on your way home, on your way to work, wherever you do, just on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. And I'm streaming all the way from Omaha, Nebraska. It's a little small town, if y'all know where it is, but I'm out here with my buddies.
Yeah, it's like home of the College World Series. So like you're in the world famous Omaha, Nebraska, and that's where that was the play call for Peyton Manning for so many years. Omaha. So yeah, man, you're right in the thick of it.
Yeah, and so I played around golf. We're going to play like 27 holes tomorrow, and then one more round the next day, then I'll be heading home. So I'm excited to kind of get back to just being a homebody for a while there before school starts again. But the Astros have been playing some really great baseball. They beat the Yankees, they beat the Mariners, and then they kind of laid a goose egg today. Jake Odorizzi, in the fourth inning, he started looking at his finger, and it's like everybody on Twitter is like, Odorizzi keeps on looking at his finger. Blum's like, he's looking at his finger. He's either got a blister or something wrong with his nails. And it wasn't until later in the inning that the coaches went out there to look at it. Hey, anything wrong? And Jake Odorizzi was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm good. But the fourth inning, he gave up 5 runs, and by that time, the Astros were down 6-1, negating what Jeremy Peña did earlier in the game, which is hit a home run. So, unfortunately, you're going to have games like this. Jake Odorizzi didn't have his best stuff.
Yeah, and I kind of like this comment right before I make mine. Odo looked at his finger the same way Peña looks at his glove when he doesn't make a play. That's actually a pretty good analogy. That's a pretty good cross-reference. But I noticed it from the first inning, Eric. I mean, he was looking at his finger the whole game. It was every inning he was looking at his finger. And I tweeted out before the coaches even went out there. I was like, what is going on with Odorizzi's? I thought it was his index finger. I couldn't tell. And I mean, he just didn't have it. And I mean, this one of those baseball games where honestly, quite frankly, you should have won scoring 5 runs against the Oakland A's. But actually, the Oakland A's in their last, I think, 11 or 14 games have been averaging 5 runs a game. So Oakland's offense has picked up. Oakland, remember, they won 2 out of 3 against us before the All-Star break. So they haven't been slouches in the last 2 weeks. I mean, yes, they have a bunch of – they've got this guy Machine who I'm like, I just crack up every time I hear that because
I think about that movie, Machine.
or there's a comedian bit people know, I'm the Machine or whatever. He's the Machine, and if you don't want to talk about, it's a pretty funny bit. But yeah, I mean, and like Tony Kemp going deep. I have a question. Okay, at what point do we stop referring to players as former Astros? Is there a certain is yeah, but Tony Kemp. I mean. I think maybe because Tony Kemp's like a fan favorite. He's a
Right.
likable guy. Like everybody loves him. But it's like, so Dallas Keuchel signed with the Texas Rangers today on a minor league contract. Are we going to refer to him as former Astro Dallas Keuchel? I mean,
Former
he's been
Astro,
with,
great.
yeah, but I mean, he's been with two other teams since then. I don't know. That was just something that, when a game like this drags on, those are places that my mind goes. Because watching away baseball games with the background noise, if we could get someone to silence those freaking trash cans or whatever they bang, it is so annoying. At least ours was a plastic trash can that made more of a thud than a clanging sound.
Brett. We're not going bang bang right now. Okay. All
Well,
right.
hey,
This is
you know what?
actually the this is actually sixth time this season the Astros have lost when scoring 4 or more runs, and so now they are 46-6 when they've scored 4 or more runs this season. So, like somebody said earlier, you're not going to win every game, but this was just kind of one of those games where Jake Odorizzi just didn't look like he had his best stuff, and then he's like, "Oh, I have something wrong with my finger." And it's just so the whole time he's like, "Oh, got something wrong with my finger." And then what was it in the fifth inning? He just threw 7 pitches, and then he went back in sixth inning and then struggled again. It's just like, I mean, it's just weird how you can struggle so much in one inning, go out, throw 7 pitches, and then allow 2 runners on base, and then, oops, my finger hurts again. Oops, I got a boo boo. I got to leave.
And they never said what it was. I thought, okay, maybe he has a blister, maybe he has a cut. Because sometimes when you're warming up, sometimes when you're throwing, the laces do tend to, you get little cuts on your finger.
Dusty Baker just said that Jake Odorizzi had a blister. So that would
Okay.
explain why he was
I thought
not
it
as
was,
crisp
yeah.
as it was.
Yeah, and I mean it looked that way, and people are asking about his mentality. Is this a mentality thing for Odorizzi? He seems to, I don't know. He's kind of like, let's give him a nickname, Hard Luck Odorizzi, because he just seems, Eric, like he gets into situations like this. Remember, last year he was frustrated because of the whole playoff thing. This year, he goes out there, he's like, I pitched crappy. I need to pitch better, and he's very openly critical of himself, where a lot of players are, but I think he's more self-deprecating, right, when it comes to that type of thing. And Mr. Corona, the very first comment I saw in our chat room was that he said, "You guys know that Odorizzi's trade value is negative right now," and I don't think Odorizzi is one of those guys, believe it or not, that's on the trading block. But there are some interesting things. We can talk about that towards the end of the show, things that have been flying around. And something that was said on the broadcast before, I don't know if you caught it.
I
We can
caught it.
catch that at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna talk some trade deadline discussion a little bit later. I'm sure you've already talked about it, but some more stuff has kind of come out today, and
Yeah.
I know James Click is a little bit tight-lipped, and his whole kind of regime has been a little tight-lipped, a little bit more than Jeff Luno's regime. But we'll talk about what we know so far, and this could be an interesting trade deadline. So we'll talk about that in a second. But you know what? If you don't want to get traded by your wife anytime soon, maybe you should go to BlueNile.com and get something nice for a change.
Yeah, since we don't know the terms of your contract with your spouse or with your future fiance, we don't know what deal you'll have. You want to make sure that you impress her with the ring of her dreams, or fine jewelry, or a cocktail ring, a gemstone necklace, something that will make not only her eyes sparkle, but her sparkle to the rest of the people around her. And you can do that at BlueNile.com, the original online jeweler for high income individuals, mostly males 25 and up. But here's the thing, you don't have to be high income. You don't have to be a male 25 or up, because they have so much experience. They have bench jewelers on hand 24/7. They're willing to help you. And they basically just need to know your price point. They want to know what it is you're looking for. They have online tools to help you choose diamond size, shape, clarity, as well as setting style. And they can craft this one of a kind piece of jewelry for you over the phone. You can go to them online, you can chat with them, and they're on hand 24/7. And they will make this memorable budget They will make this memory for any budget out there. This company's superior experience for purchasing engagement rings, wedding rings, and fine jewelry is the place you need to go. They have educational materials. They have things that help you understand. Since 1999, they've helped millions of couples create their perfect engagement ring. So this isn't just some rando jewelry store that popped up online. These guys know what they're doing. I mean, they're a well-oiled machine like the Houston Astros with all their playoff experience. So to make the moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com, go to Blue Nile, go on and check out the Blue Nile anniversary sale. Save up to 40% on classic fine jewelry pieces and 25% on engagement ring settings. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress free at BlueNile.com to get your forever piece today.
All right. If you do get traded by your wife, you might need a place to come hang out. Why don't you check out Hooters on NASA? It's a great place to just hang out and enjoy some world famous wings. You have the original Hooter style, Daytona Beach, smoked, roasted, naked or boneless. Brett and I were there the other day, and we had some great stuff. I actually tried for the first time. The 3 Mile Island buffalo that Brett likes, and the fries are great. And I always like to stick to the teriyaki with curly fries, and all the hoot is about at Hooters. So whether you're dining in or ordering online for carryout or placing a delivery order, the best food in Webster can be found here. On 7/29, it's National Wing Day. By 10 I'm sorry, buy 10 any 10 wing boneless. Sorry, I'm choking up here. Sorry, buy 10 and get 10 boneless free fried pickles when you mention Locked on Astros on 7/29 only at Hooters, NASA, and Webster. And 7:30 is UFC Fright Night. Come enjoy happy hour, or should we say happy hour specials on Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. So come hang out where the Locked On Astros boys like to hang out and watch the Astros, and come grab some great brews and ask them what their featured beers are on tap. At I-45 South, exit 528 for great wings and the best service from the world Hooters girls.
Okay, so just to clarify that, what you were telling them is that they buy 10, they get 10 boneless wings free. They also can get free fried pickles when you mention Locked on Astros. So that's what he's talking about. That fight night is on the 30th, so go check it out today.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about a little bit more about today's game. Let's not focus only on Jake Odorizzi. I mean, Phil Maton came in and he pitched 1 2/3 innings. This was a kind of a bullpen saver type of game. And Stanek, I know he came in, he broke his scoreless streak, unfortunately, but he gave up the 1 run, but he still pitched 1 1/3 innings. So overall, it was outside of Odorizzi. There's 3 innings of 1 run ball there. So the bullpen kept the game in striking distance. You had
Mm-hmm.
Peña with the home run in the first inning. He also almost had another home run, hit the top of the wall later in the game. And then you had McCormick with a home run, and he looks like he's hitting a hot bat recently. So
Yeah.
that's good, especially with the trade deadline coming up. Corey Lee played today, but JJ Matijevic came in, and I believe it was the first pitch he hit, and for a hit later in the game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's just a game. I mean, they scored 5 runs. They got a couple home runs. Peña and McCormick are only multi-hit games. Altuve did reach base with another bunt. I believe that's his third or fourth
Yeah,
bunt in the last like 3 games. And I mean, he's squaring up those bunts. I remember Jose Altuve trying to bunt, and I know bunting's not a big deal, but then again, you got to find a way to produce runs. And the A's were caught on their heels. I thought that was a smart play. There was some placement of outfielders that I questioned earlier on, whenever they hit a ball to like left center field, or I mean to right center field when Kemp got the 2 RBI double, where I just felt like if Myers was playing dead center or playing to his pull side, which I thought he should have been, that there's no way they score those 2 runs. It's a different ball game, Eric. It could be easily 5-5, and we could be not sitting here right now talking. We could be in an extra innings game, but you could always go back and say what you should have, could have, would have, but it just didn't happen that way. And you just won 5 in a row. So what? You're 5-1 in your last 6 games. It's the
Right.
Oakland Athletics. It doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. I was wondering at first. I thought AJ Puck was going to start messing up, and I was like, I was going to joke on Twitter. Maybe James Click sent him a text message through Blackburn and said, "Hey, tell Puck to just muff this outing, just like tell him to give up runs so his value drops, so we can trade for him and maybe get you as well." I don't know. I was just thinking over the weekend, over the All-Star break, whenever they gave Blackburn that ride on the private jet to the All-Star game. I thought that was pretty funny. And a lot of people thought that was like a tampering thing. But you just wonder, though. I believe we're going to face, Frankie Montas, during this series. And he's a trade target right now for a lot of teams. Frankie Montas is a very solid starter. And at the end of the day, you just want to see a decent outing. I mean, I think they can easily win this, but they could easily lose this just like they did before the All-Star break. But the bottom line is, Eric, the Seattle Mariners will probably still be double digits behind us. There's no threat to the AL West, but I do want to keep on the heels of the Yankees. So I think it's important for them to win these next 2 games before they come home, because they'll hit Seattle. And you don't want to hit Seattle after losing 2 or 3 to the Oakland A's, because Seattle could come back and do to us what we did to them at home. But 4,000 fans, 4,100
And
fans.
at the end, it was they're chanting "Let's go Astros," and that was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
because the only people left were the Astros fans, and I was like, "Wait, why are y'all still there? Like y'all are losing, And
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 we heard a few Oakland fans saying, "No, it's let's go Oakland."
it's such a cavernous. Uh, I'm sorry, I just like growing up. I was a big Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, Bass Brothers fan. I love the A's of like 1989. I love watching those guys hit as a kid, and I don't remember that stadium being kind of as bad. It just seems like just not a fun place to play. You just left 125,000 plus people in Seattle that you totally silenced and come to 4,000 people, and then you just kind of like, we're
Right.
tired of winning.
Yeah, I know that I said earlier in the game, in the show, that there was 2 errors. One of them wasn't really error, but it was just a bad throw on the double steal that kind of allowed, I think it was Alvarez to steal
Yeah.
home, and so it just. And that's the 6th inning. It just you see why the A's are the team that they are. They're just not a great team. There's a reason why they're 36-63, and the Astros are 64-33. A blind squirrel is going to find a nut every once in a while. So it's I'm not too worried about this. You see what how bad a team they are. Elvis Andrew has had 3 hits. Then you had Tony Kemp and Sky Bolt get 2 hits each, and both of them hit home runs. And
Yeah.
so you're not going to have the 7, 8 hitters get home runs like that every game. So I'm not too worried about this game. The only thing I am worried about is I don't want last time Jake Odorizzi had a bad start like this. It was against, I want to say it was against the Royals. And it kind of started a little trend. So hopefully it's not starting a trend like that. But you know what? With the Astros pitching staff, I'm not going to bet on that. And you know what? I'm not going to even go out and put the start on Jake Odorizzi's uh, baseball card, because I think that he's still better than this, but he may still be traded at some point, because Lance McCullers is going to be coming back, and there are a lot of rumors floating around about maybe Luis Castillo. So let's talk about Sports Card Investor.
So Sports Card Investor is making sports card collecting nostalgic, fun, and personal once again. It is something that I love. I've loved collecting cards since I was a kid, and since I can remember collecting cards with my dad, going to card shows, we didn't have apps. Heck, we didn't have smartphones, okay? Like, let alone a cell phone. The first cell phone my dad had was like $4 a minute. He's like, don't get on the phone, kid. This is what's great about Sports Card Investor app is it's free. You can get it on Google. You can get it on in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. You just type in Sports Card Investor app. It pulls it up. You download it. They have 630,000 cards, not just Major League Baseball, but every sport. And some Marvel cards. If you're into comic type collector's cards, they have those as well. And I've been looking at this and I've been looking, and if you're not paying attention, Jordan Alvarez's cards are trending up. I've been buying his cards. I started buying his cards when he was kind of when he was injured, when he was recovering from knee surgery, got some really good deals. Those deals I'm looking now, I look them up on Sports Card Investor and they've increased. And if I wanted to, I could sell high. And what's neat is I put it on eBay, and if I go to Sports Card Investor app and it's one of the deals, it'll go straight to my eBay thing that I've set up because the Investor app gives you the best deals on there. You click on the eBay link, you go there, and some are buy it now, some are bid, but it lets you know whether the value's up or down. Like stocks. I mean, if it's a high performing stock but it's down, buy it while it's low, then sell it when it goes high. Otani, Altuve, Judge. I know these are people you don't like to talk about because there are opposing players. Ty France may be someone that you want to invest in. He may still be kind of low, but if he gets an award at the end of the year, you may want to, take charge of that. Justin Verlander, his cards are going up. Make sure you go to Sports Card Investor today. It's fun, it's authentic, and it makes sports card investing relevant to you and me, the everyday Joe. It's a Sports Card Investor app. Go check it out today.
All right. Hun asked a very good question. He said, if the Astros and Yankees meet in the AL year and the Yankees have home field advantage, will every game be played in New York? No, that is not the case. It's a 7-game series. So what would happen would the Yankees would have play the first 2 games in New York. Then they would play the middle 3 games in Houston. Then they would come back and play 2 games at New York.
And with the way that we have played them, Eric, I don't think it would matter whether we
Right.
play them at home or in New York. I just think that at the end of the day, when it comes playoff time, this team is going to be tooled up. They're going to be ready to go. And we may get some names added here. And there's been a lot of rumors about that, about, who's coming, who's going. Now, I would caution our listeners, if you're on social media, take every trade rumor you hear with a grain of salt, okay? Unless it comes from a large name, a reputable source, there are a lot of other sources out there saying a lot of things. There was a Contreras rumor out today, and I DM'd the person that put out the Contreras rumor, and I told them that's not even a legitimate concern right now. That, like, he's not even on their radar. He would demand way too high of a price. Click said we're not going to sacrifice the future for a short term. Now, Josh Bell, however, Eric, you can get him here with not giving up too much. You may have to give up a lead prospect, but you don't have to give up 2 or 3 of them. And to me, Eric, Josh Bell makes sense because not only could you sign him for this season, pay him the rest of his $10 million he's owed, you could sign him on a 2-year, I would say a 2-year, $24 million deal, give him a third year team option or even player option, where, like, if he gets certain things, he can make up to $16 million that third year. Because he's right at 30 years old. He's like 29 years and 5 months. And he wouldn't be that much. I think his market value is about 12 million. Give the guy 12 for 2 years, give him 24, trade away at least 3 or 4 prospects, and I think you got Josh Bell. I think it'd be a good addition with Yuli struggling, and I believe Bell may be able to play some other positions. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I did see that a Mets beat writer today said the Mets are exploring other options as they feel they're no longer major players in the Josh Bell sweepstakes. Some believe Houston may ultimately end up with him. the two players they're showing strong recent interest in is Cubs Wilson Contreras and David Robertson. I've also heard that the Cubs are asking the moon for Contreras, and because he is one of the best catchers in the game. So yeah,
I mean, Contreras is not coming to Houston. Just
no,
bottom line. We've got Maldi, we've got Corey Lee. It's just bottom line. We're not going at the catcher position. I know everybody's like, well, it's kind of a zero
Dusty
position.
Baker loves a little bit of Maldi. He loves a little
Well,
bit of
right.
Maldi.
Well, but see, that's the thing. It's not just Dusty Baker; it's the
I know.
players. And I mean, Stanek even said it. I watched that Apollo HOU thing, and he talked about the value of Maldonado, how
Right.
how much study he puts into the game, and Corey Lee's going to get hopefully more reps. He needs more reps. You saw him back there trying to keep up with Stanek's movement, which is tough if you're not used to catching a guy. And you're going to see him lose some pitches. You're going to see some wild pitches go in the dirt, go to the backstop. But Corey Lee needs those things to happen for him to go through the proper maturation process as a professional catcher. Because Corey Lee's got a gun. His bat will show up eventually. And Maldonado, dude, he's been one of the best hitters in July. I talked about this last show. He's got 14 hits in July. He had 12 hits. No, he had 10 hits in June and 10 hits in May, Eric. I mean, so he had 20 hits in 2 months. He's already got 14 this month. I know it's the 26th already, but God, time's flying. Josh
Yeah.
Bell, I think maybe Andrew Chafin from the Tigers would be a good target because he's a left-handed relief pitcher. Some people have talked about Puck from the Oakland A's. There are names out there that the Astros could get.
One negative about Josh Bell is that he leads the National League in grounded into double plays with a 19 already. But he does have a 305 batting average with a
What the heck? You're like did you look for the one negative stat? Did
well,
you, Eric?
it's
Did
the
you?
only thing that's bolded in Baseball Reference. That's all.
Okay. Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
it
Okay.
just
Okay.
jumped out to me. Okay.
Eric's like, but
He has
I miss having you on the show.
883 OPS and he has 13 home runs, 51 RBI. So the question is, what would the Astros do with Yuli Gurriel at that point? He would be a super utility player. Maybe not super utility, but he could probably play a little bit of third base. The question is, how comfortable would you be having maybe Alvarez play a lot more left field? And then have maybe Yuli play a little bit more DH on a more regular basis, or have Bell play a little bit more DH because I think
I
Yuli is
think you could just.
more
I
of a
think you could
better
just.
first base.
I think you could platoon Bell and Yuli. I don't. I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to. I mean, what's that for? You're giving.
You're
You're
saying
giving.
you're going to trade for Bell to platoon him?
Okay, if you trade for Bell, okay. Yuli doesn't have any value right now. He's 39. You're not going to trade Yuli. He's here.
Okay,
So
right.
yes, you're going to platoon Bell and Yuli. Bell can also DH.
Okay,
Okay, Yuli can also play third base if you have Bregman. Remember,
yeah,
Yuli was a third baseman. We converted him to first
yeah, I know.
baseman because of Alex Bregman. Um,
I'm
the
just being
Michael
silly.
Brantley thing. I know the Michael Brantley thing. We don't know how long
Right.
he's going to be out. Um, I don't have a problem with playing Jordan Alvarez in left field more. I just need him to stop getting random baseballs hitting his ankle like today and just some bad luck stuff happened to that guy every once in a while. I was surprised to see him play. Trevor and I had discussed on the show before. I was like, just let Alvarez sit. Like if his hand's still hurting him, just let him sit for the series. It's the Oakland A's. Who cares, right?
Yeah,
Like
and
let him really heal.
right. Yeah, I'm not saying have if we trade for Bell, I'm not saying have Yuli in the lineup every day, but you do need him to play occasionally. And how are you going to get him to play? You don't want to take Bell out of the lineup, so you want to have him in the lineup somehow. So DH and maybe first base sometimes. So that's what we're talking about here. And he could play third base, but you don't want to take Bregman out of the lineup, and Bregman's not going to want to take a lot of days off. So that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so someone goes, talk about the Cuban that's in Sugarland. I'm talking about, I believe, Yonder
Pe-
Diaz, right? Isn't that who
or
you're talking
Pedro
about?
Leon.
Pedro Leon. Yeah, he's Leon's not ready. Diaz Diaz is a catcher. I don't think you're going to bring another catcher in here. And it's just one of those things where some of those guys aren't even on the 40-man roster. So
Yeah,
in some of these trades, you're going to have to trade someone on the 40-man roster. The question is, what is the price that the Nationals want? And I thought I saw something somewhere like what they were asking for a Bell, but it can't be that high because he's a rental. He's a rental. He's not. There's no guarantee that he'll sign here. But what I love is Alemnis Diaz gets zero credit on this show, and I don't talk about him enough. That guy just hits the ball. He's been hitting the ball really well. He needs more playing time, and
fan
it may
club,
be a
fan
thing.
club.
I don't mind being I don't mind being the president of the hot hitting Alemnis Diaz fan club because he just goes out there and he does a hell of a job wherever he is on the field. When he's at the plate, he's been producing. He doesn't get enough opportunities. He's kind of like a forgotten name on this roster, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so, yeah, it's just you can't have enough players that can play multiple positions. They have that with Debon, they have that with Diaz. So, if the Astros do trade for Bell, the only problem is that I don't see a spot for all these players. So they're going to have to make
No,
a
yeah,
choice.
yeah. I mean, and there may be multiple players. There may be multiple pieces. Someone says, the Astros need to trade for a center fielder.
Yeah,
I know there's some people that they're not really sold on Jake Myers. I don't see that. I know they talked about that,
yeah.
but I don't know what center fielders are out there that they're going to go get and go grab. You could go out and get a CJ Crone as well, possibly, but
Hey, you ready for
yeah,
this? All
yeah.
right. Dusty Baker said that Jake Odorizzi exited the game with a blister, was not sure if this would affect his next turn in a rotation. Jake Odorizzi said he should be able to make his next start and that this is something he's pitched through before. So one person
Yeah.
says, we don't know yet. The other person says, I'm good to go.
Well, the other day, and I think you were out, so I don't know that you heard it. Dusty Baker, I forget what player it was. It was Jake Myers or someone like that. And he goes, well, he's got the day off tomorrow. Well, I haven't told him yet, but he's got a day off tomorrow. Like he told the press that so and so had a day off the next day, and he hadn't even told the player yet.
So,
That's
yeah.
how Dusty rolls.
Odorizzi actually popped the needle after the fourth inning, and he said he tried to go as long as possible to save the bullpen today. So all the
Oh,
people
okay.
saying he's pathetic and everything, he at least tried to save the bullpen
He popped
today.
it. He popped his blister for y'all people. What more do you want?
Yeah. So Roflo, who we're trying to get on as a guest pretty soon, hopefully. But he actually thinks that the Yankees are looking for one more starter. Luis Castillo could be the guy, but there are rumors that the Astros are Castillo as well. So if the Astros go out and get Luis Castillo, then that would be the only time I could see them possibly trading maybe a Jake Odorizzi or somebody, unless
No,
they
they
had
will
to
not trade.
trade somebody else in a Bell trade or something.
They will have to trade if they get. So just listen to me, hear me out. And I'm not saying I want this, but if we get Castillo, I want Castillo, but I don't know that I do. You're going to have to trade Hunter Brown. He's gone. You're going to trade Hunter Brown. You got to trade Jose Urquidy. They are. I mean, I've been hearing from Reds fans all day. They're like, the Reds don't give Castillo to the Astros without Hunter Brown. They absolutely know who he is. I'm telling you right now,
I know, but
this
they're
is a.
Red fans. I mean, I know, but yeah.
Oh, come on. Wow. Good Lord, just totally discredit a whole fan base because they
Well, no,
they're from
but
the Reds.
they're not the
No,
GMs. But I know what you mean.
no. But they know if Reds fans know who Hunter Brown is, there's
Everybody knows who
apparently
Hunter Brown
talk
is.
about it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And so at the end of the day, if you're going to get a lot, you're going to have to give a lot.
right.
Like you can't just say, "Well, we're going to give you Siri and
Rhino.
Some other guy like Nick Hernandez, who doesn't get any love, who I don't know why Nick Hernandez hasn't made it up to the, up to Major League Club. That kid can throw smoke. He's from U of H. Corey Jokes was probably going to be on the move.
Right.
They've got a lot of pieces they can move.
Hey, I've got a question to kind of close out the show, and I want y'all to, listeners, the 67 of y'all listening, to ponder for our next podcast. Would you trade for Luis Castillo just to block him from going to the Yankees? And to help him. Hold on. We're not going to answer it for this podcast. We're going to wait till next podcast. I mean, you're also improving your rotation as well. It's not just for that, but also if the Yankees could be better. So
Eric pulled a Mac Brown with UT where he recruits like 10 quarterbacks and like 8 of them sit the bench and never see the light of day. Mac Brown's like, we're winning Texas football, and
all righty. So that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Hopefully we get to talk about Astros victory against the A's because they ain't no good anymore. And the Astros are very good. And so I am Eric H-Town. No, I am Eric.
Hold on. You are not Eric H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey. I'm sorry, sir. You're not going to take my name.
It's late. I'm tired.
You're Eric. Hey,
this is Brett H-Town Wheelhouse, and we are the Locked On Astros podcast, and we will see you tomorrow. Go Astros.